Hey everyone, it's Jason, and many people get confused about who to tip, who not to tip, and why they're even tipping on a cruise. These are 9 big tipping mistakes that you don't want to make on your next cruise. This continues to be my #1 topic people ask me about, so I hope this video sheds some light on the topic. So #1, and this is a big mistake people make, is not budgeting for daily gratuities. And this is typically between $15 and $20 per person per day. And it really depends on the cruise line and the cabin. So if you're in a suite, it's typically around $20. And so if there's 2 of you, you're looking at $280 for a 7-day cruise. But if you have 2 kids, understand they are not excluded from this. So it would be $560 for the 4 of you. Now, a lot of people go, what are these for? Who do they even go to? And I totally agree with them on this. It used to be, like on Princess Cruises, there was much more transparency. They broke it down how each person was paid. That's not there anymore. And I wish it was, because I think it would help a lot of people understand how many people are part of this tipping pool and get paid on that $15 to $20 per person per day. So what is included that we know of is your cabin attendant, your main waiter, and usually the assistant waiter are part of the tipping pool. Now, I've asked this before. Should I remove my gratuities and just pay you in cash? And I'll answer that a little later about the responses from my cabin attendants on that. The other portion of this is many people like to prepay them. Now you're going, what advantage would there be to prepaying? Well, if you're a budgeter, and many people are, so you're budgeting 1.5 to 2 years out for a cruise, you can budget that and already have that paid in your budget. So a lot of people like that. The second piece of that's really an advantage is that prices do go up. I can guarantee if you have a cruise booked in a year to 2 years, definitely, you are going to see a price increase on gratuities. Now, personally for me, when I book a cruise, I see how much the gratuities are, and that's my budget. I don't want to see another $50, $60, $80 more. So that's why I like to prepay, because if you do it, you get the old rate versus the new rate. Do you prepay your gratuities? Let me know in the comments. So #2, and I personally think this is a mistake, and you need to be aware of this, is before you even get on your cruise, you're going to drop off your luggage. And there's porters there, and they're going to take that luggage, they're going to put them on metal racks, and they're going to make sure your luggage gets on the cruise ship. For me, I know they're paid, I understand they're paid, and I know people are going, well, I shouldn't have to tip them. They're making sure your luggage gets on the ship. To me, that's worth a $5 bill for a couple bags. That's what I tip. And I've had before where I had 3 bags, they were really heavy, and I handed the guy $10. So my opinion here is a simple couple bucks per bag is very reasonable to ensure your bags get on the cruise ship and they're not crushed. Just keep that in mind. So #3, and this is the one I get asked about the most on the ship, and it's specialty dining. So you sit down, you have a great meal, and then you get your bill at the end, and you see a tip line. And you say, is there a tip already included? Is there not one included? And Americans were just so accustomed to, we see a tip line and we write something in. Well, slow down before you do that, and look over to the left and see if it says additional tip. If it does, there's a tip already built in. And don't be afraid to ask the waiter. Don't be embarrassed. Hey, say, is there a tip already included in this? And they'll go, yeah, you prepaid or you just paid. Yes, there's a tip already included. The second part that I always ask about this is, so if I write any additional amount in, does that go directly to you or does it go to the tipping pool? Understand different cruise lines have different policies on this. So we just got off the Wonder of the Seas, Royal Caribbean, and every one of the specialty restaurants we went to, 5 of them, all told me it goes directly to them. Celebrity Cruises, they've told me it goes into the pool. Princess Cruises, it goes into the pool. So it just really depends. But policies change often, so I always ask, hey, does this amount go to you? I don't always have cash on me. I don't like to carry a bunch of cash with me. That's not what I want to do. So I want to just write in an amount. But if I know ahead of time that, hey, it doesn't go directly to them, I might bring a little extra something. but just understand how that works before you start writing in an amount, because you could be giving a 45% tip. And is that what you want to do? Now that's up to you, but just be aware and be educated on that. Now, do you tip extra in your specialty restaurants? Let me know. So number 4, drink packages. And this can confuse some people, but understand if you buy the drink package before your cruise online or the first day of your cruise, you've already prepaid those gratuities. It's already been built into that price. So you've paid maybe $200-300 in gratuities. There is no reason to have to tip extra in cash or write anything in for a drink. Now, what some people do like to do is they like to find a bar they like and a bartender they like, hand them a 20 and say, hey, take care of me for the duration of the cruise. And they give them another 20 at the end. And they've reported great success on this. I've seen it happen in person. Do you do this? Let me know in the comments. So number 5, and you need to be aware of this one because this is a huge mistake you can make, is the spa. So you've had this 90-minute massage. It's been amazing. Your head's a little foggy. You're probably not all there. You're totally relaxed. And they hand you a bill to fill out. You know, you see a tip line there again. And like I said, us Americans, we're accustomed to putting that amount in. And let's say your spa treatment was $300 and you write in another $60. And I've heard this time and time again, people walking out of the spa or talking about it online is they're like, how did I spend so much money in the spa? And they realize they gave a huge tip. My advice is before you go in for your spa treatment, just ask, how much is my total going to be? And will there be a tip included? Okay, thank you so much. So then you're aware and you can just sign it. Has this ever happened to you? Let me know. So number 6, room service. So room service has changed over the years. On many cruise lines now, they charge you a service fee. And on top of that service fee, there's gratuities. Now, personally to me is if I'm sleeping in the morning and someone's going to bring me some food and they're going to put it out on my balcony and I can have my robe on and just enjoy my food without having to go up to the buffet or anywhere else, I'm going to tip the guy an extra couple bucks. That's the way I look at it. I think it's a big mistake not to. These people are up really early in the morning delivering trays, delivering food to cabins. Just hand them a couple extra dollars. I think it's a big mistake not to. Do you tip room service? Let me know. So number 7, and this is someone on the ship that you don't want to tip, and that's the ship's officers. This is also included in the entertainment staff, hotel directors, any of those kind of things, those positions you're not going to tip. I've seen this happen once. It was off to the side. Someone was trying to give a tip to a hotel director. It was embarrassing for the hotel director and the passenger because obviously they didn't accept it. So just be aware of that when you're on your next cruise. That's not someone you tip. So number 8, excursions. And I have my own captain's license, so I can say if you're taking a boat tour or a snorkeling tour, understand that those folks, the captain is the one that's paid, and anybody that's on his crew works for tips only. That's why I like to tip $10 per person, $20 extra for Lori and I. Now, on a bus, I do anywhere from $5 to $10. And yes, it is a lot of times up to local customs, but understand this holds true in the Caribbean, in Alaska, so just be aware of that. So before I get to number 9, I would ask that you please like this video, as it does help the channel grow. Also, consider subscribing, as we're on the path to 100,000 subscribers by the time we go on our Alaskan cruise in August. If you could help me out with that, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much. So number 9, and let's talk about the elephant in the room, removing your daily gratuities. I've talked to multiple cabin attendants, like I mentioned before, and I asked them, do you want me to remove your daily gratuities and just pay you in cash? And I was shocked by the answer. Every single cabin attendant I've asked this of said, no, please don't do that. So I was like, well, why not? And they said because there's people behind the scenes that are a part of this tipping pool that help them do their job in order to make me happy. So say no more. Leave the auto tips on. Now, I personally just think it's a bad mistake and a big one to remove your daily gratuities. Now, if you do it, I'm not here to chastise you or whatever, But I really believe that the crew members are some of the hardest working people that you'll ever see in that service industry. If there's anyone that deserves their tips, it's crew members. I truly believe that. So much so that typically I tip extra for my cabin attendant and my main waiter, and sometimes my assistant waiter. So I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for the support. It really does mean a lot to me. And until I talk to you next week, happy cruising.